Welcome back to the course. Now in this video we're going to talk about software development life cycle. And software development life cycle consists of some stages, and you're just going through the different phases, and they're essential to every software engineering project, of course. And so let's discuss the first phase, which is the requirement engineering, and we're going to go through fairly on a higher abstraction level. So requirement engineering is the first step, where you gather requirements from your client or just write them out yourself. You're analyzing the requirements and you're documenting them in a document so you can come back to the requirements later when you're developing the application, so you build according to what you actually want to build. The next thing is, of course, planning. The planning phase is where your project planning, your project management comes in. Like, I'm gonna finish this project in 5 months or 5 days, how I'm gonna finish different modules and how it's gonna happen. Next thing is the high level design, where you're designing the system. This is where you make your context diagrams and architecture. So what is gonna be the high level view? And we're gonna discuss that later. We have a low level design, where you're talking about modules of code and how you're gonna write your application. Then in the development phase, you actually write the code, you actually implement the things that you talked about. Then you have the testing phase. In the testing phase, you, as the word suggests, you just test the application. Is it performing the way it should? Is it passing all the tests? And we will see what are test cases and how we write them. Next, we talk about deployment. Of course, deployment is very important. Deployment is how you can ship the product. And for example, it could be on a web application, it could be a desktop application. How do you ship the project or the product? And the last one is maintenance, is where you're maintaining everything after you have deployed the software. So let's go through each of them in tiny little videos and just give you some flavor of software engineering.